Okay, now we're heading up island where there was a missing marmot mystery to cover. And who do we talk to about marmots? We talk to Adam Taylor, always. He's the executive director of the Marmot Recovery Foundation. Usually we're talking about the efforts to bring this endangered species back from the brink, talking about, reintroducing them into the wilds of, Strathcona Park and beyond. But this one's a bit different, Adam Taylor, because you had a missing marmot, although I understand there's breaking news on this story. So why don't you tell us what's going on?
Yeah, so a few days ago now, we got just an email from a person in the public saying, I think I've got a marmot in my yard. And I have to admit, I was a little bit surprised when I opened the photos, and there was this Vancouver Island marmot in their yard, and their yard was right close to the highway in Campbell River, which is not where we want a marmot. So we went down to try and trap it, and unfortunately we weren't successful, and the marmot moved off. We lost it for a day, and then got another email from another family not too far away with photos of a Vancouver Island marmot, this time on the beach, which really is not where a Vancouver Island marmot is.
That is not where you expect them. They're supposed to be in the mountains.
Yeah, sea marmots are not a thing. So but, for us, the real concern is to get to that spot. Like, it had to cross 2 highways to get to the beach. And then the spot where it was, the old island highway, was just, it's right there. So a lot of concern for this marmot, because it's not going to spend a lot of time on the beach. So 2 days of trying to trap it, and last night our veterinarian Malcolm McCady and field coordinator Kevin Gorley were able to finally trap it. And so now it is up in our facility. We're going to spend some time doing a thorough health check and make sure the marmot's all tickety-boo. But, yeah, it weighed 3.17 kilograms, so that's about 8-9 pounds. And, so it seems like he's a healthy body weight. Fur is in good shape. So really happy to get him back. And, he will in the end, we hope, go on to help with the recovery of his species. We're going to try and release him back out to the wild, but in a spot where there's other marmots.
All right, Adam, I guess we got to answer the age-old question: why did the marmot cross the road?
So part of the mystery here is we'll never know. This is a wild-born marmot. It's not tagged. It doesn't have any trackers in it whatsoever. My guess is that this is probably from Mount Washington or one of the other mountains nearby. And at about 2 years old, these marmots will leave their birth colony, and they'll go to try and find another colony to find a mate. And honestly, it's amazing they don't get lost more often. It's pretty rare that they do this thing where they end up, on the beach. But every now and then we get these odd marmots where, they end up in some really odd spot. A couple of years ago, we had a marmot camas that was found in a farm field in Arrington. And, they're just, they leave, they go to find another colony, and then they just go until they find another marmot. But of course, that's not going to happen down at sea level.
It's not going to happen when you hit the beach. Yeah. So you've caught this one again, though. This has been caught. It's been brought back up. And what a weird couple of days you had trying to hunt down a missing marmot. Why was it worth that effort? And I guess this brings us back to the fact that there aren't many of these marmots left. The populations are rebounding thanks to efforts from groups like yours. But why was it such a big deal to get this marmot back?
Yeah, well, and that's exactly it. There's 420 marmots total, and, most of those are still quite young. So this is an adult marmot that's really proved that he has what it takes to survive in the wild. And so by releasing him back to a colony where there's other marmots, he can really make a big difference for the future of his species. And I mentioned Camas before. Camas is now we released him to a colony with a single female marmot, and the two of them now have pups, or had pups last year. They hibernated together for the last couple of years. They're doing really well and really contributing to the future of this species. So this is our hope for this marmot too. It's better for him, but it's also better for his species that he gets back to the mountains. We'll pick a spot where there's an available mate for him, and he has a good chance to settle in. And then it's up to him to breed. But we're really hopeful that he's demonstrated he's a pretty wily, tough marmot. So I'm pretty hopeful he'll do well.
That's great. So if you had heard the story of one of these wild Vancouver Island marmots, these endangered marmots spotted near the highway in Campbell River, and then again, it turns out on the beach, the news is the Marmot Recovery Foundation safely trapped that little critter, and he's on his way to, get back where he needs to be. Marmot Recovery Foundation Executive Director Adam Taylor, always love talking to you, and I'm glad the story had a happy ending.
Thanks so much, Ryan. Pleasure.